Let's go, goddammit. Let's just go. Let's jump on into it. You know what it is. It is Tuesday. It is after NXT. I am one half of your hosting duo. I am SERG VICENTE, the host. The other half of this fantastic duo is none other than Miss Dre Day. Miss Dre Day, what is going on?
What is up? We back. I missed
back.
y'all. Man, it's been what?
Did.
We missed a week, Lord, and I feel like the world just crumbles.
Just see that. You know what? Is it our fault? We didn't have a show 1 week, and the world just completely fell apart. It is. I don't know what happened. Child. Just it absolutely fell apart. It is crazy. I mean, like it's to the point, and if any of you guys follow me on, I haven't even gotten to the plugs or anything. What is going on? You are listening to the Royal Rundown, the absolute best show in all of pro wrestling and sports entertainment. We are on the Scrap News and the Fight Podcast YouTube page. Thank you so much for joining us. If you are joining us live at this present moment in time. Look, we have a lot to get into today. We are going to talk about AEW's Forbidden Door. Was it indeed the greatest pro wrestling show of all time? We're going to talk about that. We will discuss. And then we'll also go ahead and talk about the cesspool, the disease, the travesty, whatever is going on the other side of the street with the WWE. We're going to talk about that as well. And so much more. But before we get into that, Dre, how are you?
Yo, out here making it.
We out here living.
Out here making it, man. And just enjoying the fires as they,
Namaste. I appreciate you.
There's just so many fires. He's so proud of himself for being on time for once. No, yeah, just watching all the fires of the world just go ablaze around me, and I'm gonna just sit here like that one meme and go, everything is fine,
Look, it's definitely one of those things that I feel like all of us we find, in times like this, it's cool, and that's why I think I really do enjoy doing the show and the community that we build, doing things like this, and we can kind of take that step away from reality and take a deep breath and say, you know what? It is okay. We will get through it. And even though the world is burning down around us, there was pro wrestling. And we can laugh and get all together with some pro wrestling. So let's go ahead and jump into it, because this weekend in the greatest wrestling city in the entire world, hands down, there is not a question, period, point blank. We are absolutely talking about the city of Chicago. Forbidden
the great
Door,
city of Chicago.
The great city of Chicago at the United Center, not at some All-State arena, not at some random UIC pavilion. No,
dang,
in the house that Jordan built, right there on Madison. Yes, right there. Jordan, he's in there with the statue, tongue out, everything. It used to be outside. It's inside now. Tripped me out when I realized it.
I know, that was throwing me off too.
It's a fantastic thing. It was right there. AEW went out there, and look, maybe I'm being a prisoner of the moment. Dre, you tell me. Because I went there, and I was not expecting what I saw. I thought that AEW did a pretty mid job, if I do say so myself, in terms of at best, mid lukewarm at best, in terms of building up this card. And it was interesting, and I even heard people even laughing and making cracking jokes, essentially saying, yo, who is this dude running people out? And they're saying that you cannot put on a card just wrestling, just collar and elbow, just going out there, just wrestling. They said you couldn't do it.
Come on, collar and elbow. I see you, Serge.
You see what I'm saying? See what I'm saying?
Serge, a whole wrestling fan now. Like, I need y'all to understand. I need you to understand.
I will let you sing my praises.
This is a year and a half build. Do you hear me? Serge hit me up before the demic. The demic hadn't even hit yet. It said, look, Dre, you are the only person I see tweeting about wrestling. You still watch that? And I heard the judgment in the text. I heard it. I heard it. I felt it. This my bro, Miss my broski. I ain't heard from him and talked to him in a few years, but I was like, we still here. And I said, bro, I need you to give it like a smooth, like a year. Give it a whole year. If you used to watch it, try it again. And he was like, Dre, if I get into this, we're going to have to start talking about it on the show. We're going to have to start a thing. And I said, I am down whenever you are down. You let me know. Fast forward, here we are, the Royal Rundown, and your boys use your terms like collar and elbow. This man, he is talking builds. He's texting spoilers. This man, we got a group chat. Things are happening right now. He is a full-fledged,
full-on wrestling fan.
He is a whole wrestling fan now. And I just want to I need to give you that moment, Serge, because you was judging me. You was judging me.
Look, I'm not going to lie to you. I was absolutely judging you. I was 1000% judging. I was like, yo, she still watches wrestling.
She is really into this.
And you know what? I take it all back. I apologize. I absolutely apologize because
I accept it.
Because it's I am hooked. If I sat there and I was going to, and I'll be honest with you, I did not watch it on the day of. Remember, everybody else, like I said, so I was offline. I was having some quality time with my lady, hanging out, not watching that, catching up on Love Island. Fantastic so far this season. I love it. So we're saying, so the next morning, get up, go ahead and toss it on. First thing I have to check out, got to see my man, Swerve and Glory. I had to watch them. They go out there, put on a fantastic show. First of all,
and they was on the pre-show.
They were on the pre-show, which is absolutely ridiculous. On the buy-in, but the buy-in was a good show. I'm not going to stunt.
It was really good.
Very good show.
It was a fun buy-in, yeah.
Can we? We can discuss the team Taz of it all in a moment.
Sure.
But Swerve Strickland, as a professional wrestler right now, where would you put him? Because some of the things that I'm seeing him do working wise, is it just me? Am I being biased? Because I can be biased. I cheer for everybody black. So maybe it could just be me.
We on the right show. I mean, this is the show we do. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like, this is what it is.
You know what
I'm saying? The fist is in the fight logo. Like, I mean,
let them know.
No, listen, I'm gonna say a couple things because I watched Swerve in WWE and in NXT. You know what I mean? I did watch that, and you know what I mean? I did not really know a lot of Swerve's independent stuff before that.
Right.
In NXT, you knew there was something special about him.
Yeah.
In AEW, though, you get to see the full star right now.
Yeah.
And we aren't even, and I'm saying full, and that's not even true. We're probably a smooth 60% on his star right now. And it's not even like, I'm probably even overstating that. But it's so bright, you're just like, you can't help it. I had the pleasure of watching Forbidden Door at one of the lovely AMC theaters here in the Chicagoland area.
In the beautiful city, in the best wrestling city in the entire world.
City best in this world. But the AEW has this really cool. They have this really cool partnership with AMC theaters, and you get to, I don't know if all of their pay-per-views are, but this isn't the first time I've seen it. But a lot of their pay-per-views are aired at certain AMC theater locations. And so me and my sis and my brother-in-law, we were like, yo, let's do it. And I kid you not, I don't know if I'm ever going to buy a pay-per-view and sit at my house ever again. I feel like
it was that dope.
I don't know, it was so, think the biggest screen you can possibly think of.
Okay.
Surround sound, movie theater quality. You still get the live experience because you're experiencing it with other people, but
Are the
you
lights
get the
on?
commentary. The lights are down like it is a full-blown movie.
Oh.
And we went to a theater where they serve you food and liquor. So it was amazing. Uh,
Oh, y'all were kicking it.
we had ourselves a great time. And so that added to the atmosphere. And I didn't, I'm definitely going to get back to Swerve in just a second, but I just wanted to say, like, if you get a chance
Oh,
to
for sure,
watch a
please.
wrestling pay-per-view at a movie theater, do it. Because it is, I highly recommend. 10 out of 10, strongly recommend. And
Awesome.
like I said, it's like not, it's a much cheaper situation than ordering a $50-$60 pay-per-view. But with that being said,
Yes.
that was the first match because we got there right on time for the buy-in. We watched the whole situation in the theater.
Right.
And so um when I say that the crowd, not just at the United Center, because Chicago, we just go keep saying that for this whole recap, is because
Of
Chicago.
course. Because
The crowd
1000%.
was everything. The crowd was everything, but our theater woke up when Swerve and Keith Lee came out.
Oh
When
man.
Swerve and
Of
Keith Lee came
course.
out, that's when the show began, in real life for us. And some of the stuff that Swerve does in the ring is just, honestly, it is
Ridiculous.
so athletic, and
Yeah.
it's not just clean and awesome work, but like the performance of it all.
Right.
That's my jam, the performing arts person, that's my heart, you know what I mean? So
Absolutely.
there is just, he does things with such a flair, and it's the small things, it's the hit the move and look at the crowd, it's a hit the move and look up, it's the do his entrance feeling himself but also give it to Keith at the same
Right.
time. It's
Right.
And then
Right.
Keith Lee is just, there's just things that big man should not be able to do that he does.
He's
And
so
we know
athletic.
he's so athletic, and he's not even like 100% yet, because he's still healing up from the post-COVID situation he had.
That's true.
And we still ain't scratched the surface with his star power either. So what I'm saying is, that Forbidden Door card was already crazy and
Right.
stacked, and there is an argument to be made that maybe that match should have been on the main card. But I would say that, if anything, I would have moved it to the end match of the buy-in, so that it was leading us into the show instead of
That's
the
that's
match
my
that did.
only
Even
gripe.
though that match was mad fun, the match that led us into the pay-per-view was super fun. And,
Oh yeah.
I just feel like,
Max Caster and in the
and the ass boys.
in the LA dojo against the LA dojo of in New Japan dojo. Yeah.
Right.
Like
I feel like,
they're entertaining as hell. They are.
as all get out. But I feel like we
Yeah.
could have had Keith and Swerve and them main event the buy-in kind of thing as like
I
as a
agree.
caveat. I mean, that's my only complaint, to be honest, about that, because the match was so fun. And it woke, when I say it set the tone, it really set the tone for the rest of the night. And like, it wouldn't surprise me if everyone backstage was like, so we have to beat that, because dang, and we haven't even hit the show yet.
Yo, when the finishing sequence,
Man,
with watching, Swerve like kicking and jumping off of stuff, like it looked like a video game, an action movie sequence of some sort. I'm glad they're kind of putting the beef type of stuff behind them, because I do think they work really well as a pairing, and I think it's
putting it
silly
behind them?
well, I think that's something that they'll play with later on, but I hope it's more of a keep their cards in their back pocket just in case, pulling just in case of emergency storyline type of thing, as
Listen,
opposed to what they're doing. I don't know. Maybe it's just me.
Here's the thing. AEW has 7,682 wrestlers injured right now.
Oh my goodness. You ain't never. That's the problem with pro wrestling right now. Everybody's hurt. And
everybody hurt. And
I mean, we'll talk about it in a little bit, talking about the co-main event.
Weeks and months off. Right. What weeks and months off and all that. And if I had a complaint about this show, is that it was the lack of melanin in the whole show.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
so
yeah, because they were all on the buy-in.
We were on the buy-in. We're on the buy-in. Now, what I'm saying is that Powerhouse Hobbs, Ricky Starks, Keith Lee, Swerve rivalry needs to make more television.
It has to.
It's too. Ricky Starks is entirely too entertaining.
He's
pretty
really
Ricky,
fantastic.
Pretty Ricky, that's The Rock's little baby. That's The Rock's son right there in terms of just
Uh,
charisma. I mean, come on, son. Like, and I know we kind of love to hate and hate to love the comparisons of new guys and new people to older people, but like, I mean, come on.
right.
Everybody is
You can
what's the word I'm
definitely
looking
see
for?
the
Is
influence.
inspired
You
by,
can absolutely
exactly,
see it.
influenced
Yeah.
by these people. These people, we watch them, they watch them. So duh, we're gonna see that.
Right. Right.
And I mean, it's just that rivalry needs to heat up again because it's kind of been going on for
Absolutely.
like a little while. So we need to
Yeah.
get something to escalate a little bit. And two, it
Yeah.
needs to be on more
Give
television.
Swerve the little FTW belt or whatever. Like let
Whoa.
that happen. I think
All
that
right.
let that happen. Let something like that happen. So the whole, like let's mix this up because it is getting a little
Yeah.
stale, and all of them are
It's
far
time.
too good for it to get stale.
It's time.
But look, that match was great. The Ass Boys, hey, they did their thing, scissor it up. Happy for y'all. Glad that happened. You know what I'm saying? They do it. Yeah. All right. All that. Let
Scissor
that shit
me
happen,
that. First of all, can we just talk about how ridiculous "scissor me daddy" as a phrase, and then the fact that it got over? It is so over. I
Yo,
just need to be
you
clear
got
that
grown
wrestling is
men
really
saying
stupid, and I love it.
scissor me daddy o.
With the biggest of grins. And
Si-
honestly, I can't love wrestling anymore. Like that, I
I
love that
love
stupid
silly,
foolishness.
stupid wrestling.
I love
Silly,
it
stupid
so much.
wrestling is the best. And you know what? Shout out to Billy Gunn.
That
From DX to
the man is in his
being
60s.
the patriarch of the Ass Boys. I mean, hey, what just do your
He gets
thing.
to wrestle with his children, like his sons. Literally, because they got his face and everything. It's just
Yo, for
so
real.
like that's gotta be really fly. I mean, I don't know. We gotta move on. We're still on the
We
pre-show.
got
The
him. I'm
Forbidden
telling you, we're
Door was
still on
like,
preset. So it okay, so this how we're gonna do it because we could just go through each one and each one will end up talking about how it's amazing and everything like that. Let's talk about moments. Okay. Let's talk moments and favorite matches. All right.
yeah.
So what are your favorite moment and what was your favorite match?
Hmm. We talked about this in the lovely group chat. I always talk about
The
the infamous,
infamous one.
that should be a shirt, the infamous group chat. um, it's really hard. I gotta give you a little like I didn't watch a lot of New Japan wrestling. I try to um I try to kind of keep up a little bit with it. It just so like if I see a match or something that's getting a lot of traction or a lot of attention or whatever, I try to go back and try to find it and watch it and stuff like that. So like I know like the broad strokes of like Chris Jericho's run down there. I know the
Yeah.
broad strokes of Kenny Omega and the Bullet Club and
Yeah.
Finn Balor or Fergal,
Right. Right.
in AJ Styles and all of that. I know like the broad strokes of it all. And so I know who Okada is. I know who, Naito is and, everybody, right? Like everyone that was on the card, the main card, for the most part, I had an idea of who they were. What I will say is there's just two things that kind of brought up, and I know I'm going to answer your question. I'm just being very long-winded. In Japan, they're not actually, I read this somewhere, they're actually not allowed, the crowd doesn't really make noise. That's
I
just like a
know. Yeah.
cultural thing, right?
Yeah.
And so
You
one
should
of
you
the
see the
dopest,
MMA fights out there. They're quiet.
yeah.
Love
So
it.
the dopest thing, one of the dopest things for me was to see the Japanese wrestlers come out there in the greatest city of the world, Chicago, with the
Fantastic.
dopest fans, the
Best
hypest,
fans in the world.
loudest fans in the world. And
Going
them just
nuts.
coming out of that tunnel and soaking in all of that cheers. Like, put yourself in that. Like, you go to a whole other country to do the thing you've been training for however long you've been
Forever.
doing. You've had
Forever.
all the success in your home country, right? And you get to come here. I mean, and some of them, a lot of them have fought here before, so it's not like their
Yeah.
first
Yeah.
time. But
Been
just
in
like,
different
come on,
organizations.
man. But it's just like different level, different
Yeah.
stakes, all that. And just to see them, like, it looked like they were having a ball. It looked like the New Japan folks was having a blast
A
all
blast.
around.
Yeah.
And I love that Chicago was getting behind a lot of
Oh
them,
yeah.
especially like some of the new ones. So like the Jericho Appreciation Society
Mm-hmm.
match. And I not gonna remember homie's name. But they
No,
were
but he did his thing. And
with the hair, homie with the hair,
you
and like
homie with the hair, yes.
and I love that. Like I love that AEW tried to give us a little background. Jericho attacked his dad several years
Right,
ago,
right.
in Japan, and so when
Yo,
he was a young boy, and then
they
like
call
he
him
comes back
Shooter.
home,
That's
like
what they call him. That Mox calls
yeah,
him Shooter.
I loved that we got behind him in that match. And like, I just love
Mhm.
that everybody, like, those were kind of my favorite moments, kind of all around, was like when Chicago, the crowd kind of picked a
Right,
few of the New Japan guys that were going to just like, I don't want to say maybe get over, put them over, or whatever you want to call it.
right.
Like, I thought that was really fly, because I know that had to mean a lot to not just the AEW guys, but also to the New Japan
Oh
guys. And
yeah.
I mean, it just opens the door for Forbidden Door 2 next year. My
Oh, I can't
favorite
wait.
match of the night, I
Mhm.
think, and I think I've changed it already once, but I'm gonna go with Will Ospreay and Orange Cassidy. Man, that joint was fun.
My
That joint was
boy
fun.
Will Offspray. I told you not too
That
long
joint was
ago.
fun.
I remember it was when we first started talking Forbidden Door. I started doing a little research. I was looking for different points to put
Took
in
out
my
your notebook.
notes. Absolutely. So I was watching New Japan, and dude is one of those guys that just like explodes off
Sticks
your
out.
TV screen, right? It's like
Yeah.
he has everything, right? He got the look, he has the skill set, he jumps on the mic, he sounds great, and you're like, yo, why isn't this dude like? Why haven't I heard of him till now? And then he
Right.
goes out there with Mr. Orange Cassidy of all people. First of all, I need I have I need to put far more respect on his name.
Put
Let's say
all the
that.
respect on that
I
man's
need to put
name.
all of the respect on Orange Cassidy's
Mhm.
name. Yo, Orange
He not
Cassidy.
regular orange juice. He's
No,
simply orange. You feel me?
he is not concentrated. He is that purified, fantastic OJ. He is just, yo, he went out there and put on a show. And
Yeah.
the way that the both of them were able to, and we always talk about reactions, and good wrestlers have amazing reactions. Does anybody have better reactions right now than Will Ospreay? Like the reactions that he has, but the comedy, the story that they were telling within the moment was fantastic between the two of them.
Yeah.
It was also my favorite match. It was my match of the night as well. It really was.
Yeah, it was just
It,
all around really, really dope. I have to comment on the fact that the show was long, but it moved.
it didn't
It
feel
had
like it was long.
no and I'm
It
saying it,
didn't
and
feel
that's because
like
it
it.
moved. There was not a
Yeah.
lot of fluff. It was literally like match, promo video, match,
Facts.
video,
Facts.
match. Like,
Facts.
I think there was like one or two backstage segments. They lasted 30 seconds or less, and it was a wrap. I thought that was a really, really, if you're gonna have a match heavy card, that's the only way to do it. I also think that the order of the show was perfect.
It was
And
great order. I
we
feel
have to
bad
bring it
for
out.
Thunder Rosa because I feel
Yeah,
like I think she's either left off of the card or she's always put in a place in the card where is directly behind one of the biggest moments of the night. And then
right.
it's like they have to back it up. The crowd is still like buzzing from the other event, not really paying attention to them.
Yeah,
She can wrestle. I don't want to sit there and feel like I'm a consistently
she's
disparaging
cold.
saying that she's not it. But her title reign, we're not going to pretend that it's been great. It hasn't been. And
Yeah,
a
I
lot
mean,
of
I
her
think
matches, unfortunately, have been forgettable. Am I
yeah,
right?
and it's not. I don't know. I don't disagree with that. I think part of the. I think the biggest reason is this. First of all, Thunder Rosa has a great look.
One
She's
of
got
the best looks. The half and half
man
joint. Oh, come on. Whoever thought
represents
of
her
that?
culture
Chef's kiss.
wonderfully. You know what I mean?
Beautiful.
Like so dope.
Seems like she's a good
Um,
person as well. Like outside of she seems like she's a
I've listened
good,
to her
genuine
in
person.
interviews and stuff. She's
Yeah.
easy to get behind. She's easy
Yeah.
to like.
Yeah.
The problem is we watch the interviews,
We
we
do.
go on the socials. That's
Yep.
because we are full blown marks out here in these streets. The
All the way. I
everyone
be in
else
the
is
I
really
be in the dirtiest of dirt sheets.
just the filthy ones. And my thing is, we can't get her matches are forgettable sometimes. The one where there's one with Serena Deeb that was amazing, but like her matches
Yes.
are, and obviously the Britt Baker joint, but
Yes.
the ones it's her rivalries aren't rivaling. Like
They're not hitting.
there's nothing to sink their teeth in. And this particular one with Tony Storm, who I dig as well. I think she's got a fantastic look and is very talented, et cetera, et cetera. But we got two faces facing each other, and that is always hard. Somebody, you have to hate somebody in
Somebody
theory,
has
right?
to have
Someone
an
has to
edge.
be the bad guy.
Yep.
Somebody has to be the bad guy, and we have to have a reason other than I want a tournament, blah blah blah. Like we need something. We need some story. That's why a lot of the other matches on Forbidden Door actually were pretty fly because they did take some time to kind of give you, even if it was just a tinge of story between these two, between the two different companies, guys, or whoever that were fighting. There was just, oh, Tony won the thing, so let's go fight. And like I needed something else, and I felt bad for them because they did put on a good match. Like if you just watch it,
They did.
and
They did. In
no
terms of
one tells
match,
you
it was a
anything else,
solid match.
the match was solid.
Yeah.
Solid. It was really good. It was just
For sure.
not as good as everything else, and that's disheartening. You know what I mean? And I was worried before it came on. I text y'all before. I was like, please let the women's match be good. You know what I mean?
I know.
The show was just so good, and it was moving along so well. I knew that this was the part. If it was going to jump off a cliff, it was going to jump off a cliff there. Thankfully, it didn't because those two women put on a great match. But
And it kept moving.
It just kept moving.
Yeah.
I'm also glad that it didn't overstay its welcome. None of the matches really did. Nothing was
None
too
of them
long.
did.
I was never watching anything and going, "Is this over yet?"
All right, so I want to say this, because I totally agree with you. I do
Yeah.
want to talk about this one though, because we're talking about moments, and
Yes.
even though, like I said, salute to the women, salute to Thunder Rosa, she's fantastic. You better hope they don't sign Sasha Banks because you'll get destroyed in like on the mic, in the ring, and be forgotten
Wait,
about. Like she
but now I
really
want
might
that.
overshadow the entire division. Like
But wait, now I want that. Sasha Banks versus Thunder Rosa. Like, think about
I'm here
we're
for it.
talking about giving Thunder Rosa some story, some meat,
That would be it.
something.
I am the boogie woman. I came here to take your belt. You think you bad? Here I come.
Come on. I was
Makes
like,
sense to
now I
me.
want that. Now I need that in my life. Dang,
There we
Serge.
go. You know what I'm saying? I've been studying a little bit. Okay, but I do want to talk about somebody who, honestly, if we really look at it, and I want to get your opinion on this, arguably might be this year's top 3, might even be in the running for wrestler of the year this year. And I'm
Ooh,
talking about, if we're looking at one of my favorite matches of the night, FTR, my boy Dax.
man.
Dax is look, am I crazy? He is
Nope.
he might be in the running for the best wrestler of the year. This dude has had
Cold.
singles matches that are fantastic. He's had his double, and then they go out here against I mean the Japanese juggernaut over here. I can't remember Buddy's name, but he is fantastic. Who was that guy?
Right.
I am such a fan of that tag team, whoever they were from New Japan.
Jeff Cobb and Jeff Cobb and the dude with the stuff and the things in the ponytail joint. Yeah, him.
Fantastic. Those guys went out there, and
We
my
are
man
terrible.
came
We
out
should have
there
had the
with
card pulled
the black and the green, and he was out there just chucking
Yeah.
people around. He looks like
Yeah.
the final boss of a video game. That dude was great. But Dax goes out here, work, shoot. I don't know what the hell happened. He goes out there. It appears he ends up injuring his shoulder. And then it
Dislocating his
almost
shoulder.
looks like, oh no, it's right in the beginning. He rolls out. His partner stays in. You're like, oh, what's going on? Even to a point where you see my man crawl up looking for his partner. Oh no, still getting beat up. And I know Dax is becoming a star is when he came back in.
Chicago
Like
stood up.
Paul Pierce, in the playoffs or something. The crowd goes nuts. He jumps in here taped up and works my man. Oh, it puts on a show. They get the belt. One of my favorite moments of the evening. But yo, what
Yeah.
salute to FTR.
FTR is having the run that we always wanted them to have.
They're so
These
good.
men, I was lucky enough to see them wrestle when they were in NXT when I was working there. And like them some wrestling loving dudes. You know what I mean? They love the sport of it all. They love what they do. These people talk about studying game film and all that. This
Oh
is what
man.
they do. And it is obvious.
Yeah.
I adore everything
The
about
Sons
their
of Bret
character
Hart.
work. I mean, hello.
You
Like, and
know?
it is so dope. 7 titles, they've won now at this point, which is great. And like none of the titles they're holding right now are the AEW tag titles. And guess what? Who cares?
None.
Like at this,
Doesn't
nope.
matter because they have every
They're
other
full.
organization's belt.
And it's so perfect for them. That whole old school going around the territories and collecting belt joints.
For
Like
sure.
that's amazing. And I love
That's
that that
really dope.
it works so well for them. And the fact that they're
That's
in a
really
space
dope.
and place where they can do that. Like, we love the talent. We are pro talent here at the fight, at the Royal Rundown. And like, that's just one of those things where you're like, that they're having a ball. Like you could just tell
You
that
you
they're
know what's
doing it
funny?
all the way they wanted to.
FTR has 3 championships right now, right? And we are applauding it. We are happy. We are sitting there saying, and on the other side, the Usos only got 2 belts, and people are losing their minds,
That's
upset.
because they keep
We ha-
losing.
yo,
We won't do we're
and,
not gonna talk about it
and,
right
and,
now.
and,
We're
and,
gonna talk about it right now.
but I'm no, but real quick, I could hard pivot for just a hot second. Look, the FTR is being booked so much better. Even the match that they had, if we're talking in the tournament, in the Owen Hart tournament, when they had against each other, it
Each
was the
other.
match
Yes.
that first of all, it was the exact same match of Owen Hart. If you go back, you put it side by side, they literally did the exact same match, move for move. Bret Hart versus Owen Hart when Bret put Owen over. It was super dope when you realize it. And you have that. They did that. They did a couple other singles matches. Like these dudes have been putting on shows all
Yeah,
year
man.
long, and they've been winning. They've been giving you drama. They've been giving you story, and the WWE just keeps booking the Usos to lose. AEW is definitely booking their this tag team champions because I mean Jungle Boy and them is trash. We should definitely give them. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm so happy. Like,
They're
thank you.
not
Break that up.
trash.
Look,
Stop it.
man, Dinosaur Man, and
Leave Luchasaurus alone. That's my guy.
look, man. When I found out Luchasaurus was not a Mexican dude, I was very upset. I was like,
You're
wait, what
such
do you mean? What do you mean?
You're the worst.
He is
Can we talk about moments though? We talked about moments.
yes. Or are
We
you?
have not brought
We're talking about the sting of it all. Is that what you want to talk
I
about?
wasn't even gonna talk about this thing of it all yet. Not
The
yet.
sting
I
of
was
it
gonna
all.
talk about the Claudio, aka Cesaro of it
Oh, how
all.
did I forget about that? Yes, Claudio, the formerly known as Cesaro, made his debut. He is firmly a part of the British Ass Kickers Club, and it is so great to see that he is a part of a team that can really have him showcase his skills because he's
Gee,
one of those guys.
he is
He fits
another one.
perfectly.
He is another one where like it was so cool to see him get his moment on this
Yeah,
big stage
yeah,
in
and you saw him feel
Chicago
it too.
with fans who get it and
Yeah.
know who he is before he was Antonio Cesaro in WWE. Then they took his first name away. He was one of the first ones who lost the name. And then it was Cesaro. And then right, like all of his WWE stuff, which was always so like everyone and their mama wanted him to get a push. He was kind of like Miro / Rusev, right? Like everyone was like, yo,
Yo,
push this
Mero
guy.
is so fun to watch. by the way.
Yeah, and they were always have been. It's the thing. It's like they were
Yeah.
always fun no matter what company they were in.
Yeah, for
Especially when you
sure.
talk about WWE where they're so constricted and confined to what the creative has for them, and for them to even still be connected to the audience and still be entertaining even when what they're giving isn't necessarily entertaining, they still
Right.
do. That's a talent. It's what Kevin Owens is currently doing right now, it's what Sami
Yo.
Zayn's currently doing right now, et
Yo.
cetera, et cetera. So it's like, it's really cool to see Claudio have that moment, on Sunday, and
That was
have the
cool.
type of match he had. Zack Sabre Jr., who is another one who I've been like, those are Will Ospreay, Zack Sabre Jr. Those are just names I've been hearing about, when it comes to New Japan
And
since
Zack
before
Sabre
all this
Jr. is
Forbidden Door stuff.
good. That
Yeah,
was
and
a
like
good match. Honestly, it was honestly behind the Osprey match. It was my favorite match of the night.
honestly, like I still need him versus D-Bry. I still need him and Brian. I need that once Brian gets
Yeah.
very
Yeah.
healthy. I need
Yes.
that because yes, you know what I
Yes.
mean? And like, but it was just really cool. And I love
Mhm.
that match, they gave him time to cook. They gave
They
him
did.
time. Like it wasn't,
They
again,
absolutely
didn't
did.
overstay its
Absolutely.
welcome, but it wasn't like a quick short situation either because it was, last minute. It was no, we know these two
He
people
got to show.
can
They
do their
got to
thing.
both show what they were good at.
What they're famous
They what
for,
they're
what
famous
they're good
for.
at, all
Yeah,
that.
Claudio got to
It
grab
was a
him by
fun
his
time.
feet and swing him around like Tom and Jerry. Like he gets to do that. Like that is what they do. Like it was, but that was great. Let me ask you
Yeah.
this: thoughts about the IWGP, JP, whatever heavyweight belt with Switchblade, Jay Wyatt, Adam Cole, baby, the Cowboy, the other Adam, somebody.
Adam Page,
Yeah,
Hangman.
and then
The two
saying
the two Adams,
the two
Jay
Adams, and then and oh my, and Osaka. Well, I'm sorry, what's his name?
and
I ain't trying to mess
Okada.
up Okada. Yeah, I wasn't gonna mess up
Okada.
Okada's
The
name.
Rainmaker.
The
The
Rainmaker.
Rainmaker. That man.
S-
Um,
What were your thoughts on that match?
that was, I mean, okay. So first of all, we hope that Adam Cole is okay.
We
Let's
hope
just
that Adam
get
Cole is
that out the
okay
way.
because you were shocked because it all of a sudden did look like something funky happened. It was like, wait,
It
what?
absolutely did. Yeah. Because the match was like getting to the good part. Like it was,
Right,
that was one of
right.
those, like, it was a nice, first of all, that 4-way could have easily been two singles matches easily. And it could have been
It,
any combination of those four
any
men.
combination
It
of the
did not
four, and they
matter.
would have been
It would have been
fantastic.
fly. It would have been
Yes,
super fly. So
yes.
like, that's just one. So for them to be really bold and be like, we're going to put y'all in a 4-way. I was very interested to see how that match was going to go, and it was building to something. It was telling a really nice story, and it was building to something really cool. And then obviously
Yeah.
the ending was a little deflating because
A
it was
touch.
obvious that something
There was
went
a hiccup
wrong,
somewhere.
and we didn't get a Rainmaker from Okada. And that was like, that's his thing. We
Yeah.
needed to see Rainmaker versus, Buckshot Lariat situation. I wanted to, and they were building to it because they both attempted it and missed, and it was coming. It was on the way. You know what I mean? And so
Yeah.
like I'm a little, little sad about that, but for the reasons, again, for that to happen in the ring and those four
Mhm.
men to adjust and to
On the fly.
adjust so
Yeah.
fast
Yeah.
and to adjust so quickly. Like again, we're like, oh shoot, something happened.
That's all you
Like
can see.
even that is,
When
I feel like
I
that
knew
just
something
speaks to their
happened.
professionalism.
I saw there's a moment where Jay looks at Adam and you see
He
him
does,
kind
and
of
he sees he's not present.
yeah, and he double
Yeah.
takes at him and you see his face like, and that you
Nope.
can tell that's his boy too. So he's like, and like
Oh
a real
yeah.
life boy. So he's like, oh shit, like
He is not
he is
present. Let's
not
1,
here.
2, 3.
Yeah, let's.
1,
He
2,
looks
3. Let's go
around.
home.
My man must have been out here just spacey, But
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
unfortunate. I hope Adam Cole is okay, obviously,
I
and
do too. And
it,
I don't think that's the last we'll see of
no,
that
no,
combination of four guys, however we do
they're
it.
gonna make him do it again.
That was the first time I actually saw Jay White wrestle.
What were your thoughts?
That I enjoyed it quite a bit. I enjoyed him quite a bit. I was like, I did not expect to enjoy him quite a bit either. I was kind of like, oh, okay. He, whatever, WWE brain, I don't know what you want to call it. I was kind of like, he kind of looks like four other guys I could think of. You know what I mean? Like, and
Yeah.
so I wasn't expecting a ton. He cut that promo in Japan, last week or 2 weeks ago or whatever. That made me
Yeah.
go, huh,
Huh.
okay.
Well, you piqued my
Came on TV
curiosity.
Came on TV the last 2 weeks, and I went, there's some swag here. There's
And now
some
you have my
character
attention.
here. I
Absolutely.
think I'm present. Then he came out in the Michael Jackson Beat It and all red, and I was like, well, all right, let me tune in. I was ready.
Look, aside from them high boots, I'm here for everything else. He
Didn't even pay
absolutely
attention to the boots. Oh goodness.
made him. Yeah, it's old school. I know, and people do the high boot thing. I think it looks silly. That's just
You're so
me.
silly.
I'm just saying it's not cool. Like I like the guys who dress like they just got sweats on and they going out there to kick your ass. Like I prefer that. But
I don't, I didn't pay
hey,
attention. I was too busy on the jacket. I was like, come on, beat it jacket. And that's, that
oh, the
lost me.
jacket was
That was all I
clean.
needed.
But you know what? He gets busy. And if
Really,
I
really
was
does.
looking at the guys from New Japan that really stood out to me, it would be Will Ospreay and him. And
Yeah.
and Shooter as well. Shooter's
Yeah.
really in that first match put on a really entertaining match. But those guys like Will Ospreay to me is I mean, what is he? The British Seth Rollins? Like, I mean, that dude goes out here
That's
and
so
gets
funny you say that because
absolutely busy.
they have a little thing. They have a little thing
What they
on
got
the
beef?
Twitter sphere. There's a little thing, and folks are trying to say Will is better than
No.
Seth and Seth is better than Will. And I believe they
Look,
got into it on
man.
Twitter a couple years ago.
Seth is
Honestly,
goated, okay? I mean,
I want the match.
could you imagine? Could
I
you
want it.
imagine? Yo,
Will
first of
Ospreay
all,
versus Seth Rollins.
I
This
want
Seth
Will
Rollins.
Ospreay to I want yes, with this Will Ospreay coming
I
in with
want
the whole
it.
kimono and everything. I
I
don't care what
want it.
anybody says. That kimono is sick. All right.
Cold.
I love he comes in here
Super
with the
cold.
I just want to walk around my house in it. I want one. I would do this show in that
See,
kimono if I had it.
I was feeling Okada's, and that was a very chill Okada fit
It
because
was cool.
if you go back and look at some of Okada's Tokyo Dome entrances, we got the
Okada,
most chillest version of Okada we could
man,
have
because we got the
possibly
most
gotten.
chill version of Okada. Okada didn't give it, all. Okada
We
spent
got
the
the
majority of that
chillest
match on the
Okada.
outside. He was in there running around the outside, just chilling half the time. He was just waiting to drop his one rainmaker and go home. All right, he made his money.
Listen,
He's like, look, just pay me. All right, that's the performance I felt I got from him. I was waiting for that rainmaker. I didn't get it, but I know it wasn't on him.
yeah,
Main event. Mox,
yeah.
Tanahashi. What do you
Tanahashi.
think? What do you believe? How do you feel? What were the feels that it gave you within the moment?
I felt like, because like you, I did a little bit of research too, and he's another one of those New Japan guys that
Legendary characters.
you hear about all the time,
Right.
and when you realize
Right.
like the level of legend he is, it
Right.
gave you a little bit more appreciation for this match, right?
Right.
It was hindered because we knew he wasn't winning. We knew Moxley was winning.
Absolutely new. Now,
So
granted,
I think that's the only.
I did pick him right beforehand when we were talking about it in the group chat, just because I was like, you know what? Maybe they try to freak it out because the build was so mid. I was like,
Yeah.
maybe they're gonna try to do something to extend it, but the show put over delivered in my opinion.
Oh, I mean the match, and like I love that it was so different from all the other matches we saw that night. It was so different.
Mhm.
Like,
Mhm.
we won't talk about the aftermatch,
Oh
but
my goodness.
the
Blood and
post-match
guts.
beatdown, which was like the theme of the show. But
Oh, they were
that
brawling
match
that
was
time. They was out there
so
brawling.
different. And like well, I'll talk about that in just a second. But like I love that the fact that it was so different from all the other matches. Moxley's matches tend to be that way. Moxley's matches are not, he is not about to fly around the ring for you. He is not
No,
about to work at 762 miles an hour for you.
nope.
Moxley is very Brian Pillman, Stone Cold Steve Austin after the knee surgery combo.
Oh yeah,
Like,
yeah,
and it works for him because he knows that. Like,
right.
I would even give him like Randy Orton with some of his, like, sometimes he can be super smooth when he wants to, although he's very rough
Yeah.
and tumble. When he wants to be, he gets mad smooth on you, and you're like, I see some
Oh,
Viper in you too. Like, there's
right.
just a lot to Moxley that I really, really, really enjoy.
Mhm,
Um,
mhm,
and it's
mhm,
so different. And I think he's an acquired
mhm.
taste, but I
Yeah.
think that his character is so easily likable because
Yeah.
it's very, you feel like you know him, you feel like you can
It's
have,
Stone
you want to,
Cold. He's one of the guys.
he's one of the guys,
He's one of the guys. He's the
and
everyman.
I love, love, love that he is, even though it's interim champion, whatever. I love that he is champion while we have fans in the building.
Absolutely.
His
Yes.
first
Yeah.
title reign, literally the pandemic hit right after that. So he didn't even, so he carried AEW through the pandemic era, right?
Mhm.
That was the first time
Just
that
like the Big Oos, and people are looking at taking advantage of it. People over here throwing dirt on his name now, saying he ain't working
Surge
hard enough.
Surge gonna bring up his big brother anytime he
Come
can.
on, man.
No, you're right though. That's truth. It's truth, right? One time for the Shield. Just one more.
Ungrateful.
Just
Ungrateful.
wait. Can
Ungrateful.
we just?
Look at these people. No, really quick, man. No, these peons over here. Hey, throwing dirt on the name of the tribal chief. All he's
Oh
given you,
God.
all he's been able to go out there through an entire pandemic,
Go ahead. You tell him,
drag this
Surge.
company,
Tell
drag
him,
them
Surge.
kicking and screaming, beat
Mm-hmm.
everyone they had. And then after the end said, what is there? I've carried you through a pandemic, a global pandemic. I sat here in the Thunderdome era and I
Uh-huh.
made it compelling. Me
Uh.
and Paul
Cut this promo,
Heyman.
Surge.
Come
Uh-huh.
on, son. What?
Man,
And now
listen.
you guys are going to sit here and complain that the tribal chief wants the vacation. He hasn't had a vacation in 3 years. He has children. Let the man see his children. One time for the GOAT.
One time for all of the Shield, if we're going to just talk about this, because you got Roman carrying the pandemic era WWE, you had Mr. John Moxley
Acknowledge
carrying
cuz.
it, carrying it from the AEW side. You got Seth holding up, holding it up, during the in WWE as well, being
Seth
the
is
most,
just
oftentimes the most entertaining
fantastic.
thing on Raw. You know what I mean? And so the Shield is probably one of the coldest, dopest things to ever happen to wrestling. Probably one of the dopest factions, you know what I'm saying, of all time. If we talk about longevity of all of its members.
Exactly. You got to
And
make
so,
them
like,
miss you. Leave them wanting a little bit more.
I love it. So, yep. And so it's just really cool to see. I think Mox is the right winner. Mox is the right interim champion.
Absolutely.
I am very much looking forward to seeing Punk versus John Moxley for
Oh my
the
God,
to
yes.
for the undisputed AEW World
Yes.
Champion.
Yes.
I think that's going to be a crazy promo situation.
Yeah.
I think that we're gonna get my favorite stuff, some story. We have background
You
here.
know what I
CM Punk
love?
was the creator of the Shield backstage, by the way. So it's
Yep.
just there's a lot of really cool things we can do. And then we've got the Regal connection. We have the whole
Yeah, the
Blackpool Combat Club portion of it. There's all kinds
verse
of stuff.
FTR and Punk. That's what it would be, because FTR and
Oh,
Punk got their little crew going right now. You know, the Sons. You think I was playing? I was like the Sons of Owen
oh,
Hart. Remember, they was all wearing the
oh.
shirts. Or
They
Bret Hart, the
were. That's
Sons of Bret
facts.
Hart.
That's facts. Yeah.
So
So I
the
mean,
three,
it's
and
just
remember afterwards too, they all three walked out together right before Punk. They were gearing up to start doing
yeah,
stuff together
they
until
were.
Punk got hurt. So them versus Blackpool is honestly, that's what it seems like that's what they're gonna be pushing for when it comes back.
And
And now
it's
you got
gonna be
Claudio.
And it's got legs, man. Like we can do that for a minute and not be bored because there's
Yeah.
so many different things. And you've got FTR and Punk. That's 3 people. They're outmanned by the Blackpool Combat Club now that Claudio's there. Plus, they have Wheeler Yuta as like the young cat in the situation. Who's the young cat that FTR and Punk are going to now mentor?
Maybe we should bring somebody black in here because there's a whole lot of white guys.
I mean, like, I went to Swerve because I think that would be some crazy charisma, but like it is a little off. And I do like seeing Swerve steer tweener heel, tweener heel, tweener.
Yeah, but you know what?
I do
FTR
enjoy
can
that.
go tweener heel also.
Oh, FTR are like the flyest heels when they and Punk is one of the greatest heels in my personal opinion.
Because
So like
I thought they're all about to go heel. That's before Punk got hurt. I thought that's what was happening. I thought it was about to be
I
this
think
like
they're gonna
crazy
feel it
heel
out.
turn.
I really think that I think they're gonna feel it out because if they do what you say, if they do bring the whole FTR Punk versus the Blackpool Combat Club, which I really didn't think of until you just said it, somebody's got to be the heel. Technically, the Blackpool Combat Club are neither. Well, Daniel Bryan was a heel, and then when Regal came in, got Mox,
They
they're getting a lot
became
of cheers.
their face.
It's
They
just
are faces. 1,000. They can't do nothing about it.
And
They
Mox
can't
is
do
a whole
nothing about
face.
it. And here's the thing. And you mean me tell me Claudio isn't? Hear the pop that dude got.
Claudio is a whole face.
Wheeler Yuta is the face.
Is the face of faces.
Love it. Come on, that entire that is a
So like
all of them.
Punk and
Regal is a
FTR turning
face.
heel would be dope, right? So like you could do so much. There's just too much talent in between the two groups for it to not be fly. So my point is, championship match I thought was really fun. I thought it was dope. I like that the ending came semi like, I don't want to say out of nowhere, but like you didn't think that was the end. Like you knew it was going to be something. But it was the end. And I like the submissions that Mox is doing now. Like I really do enjoy that fits him. It fits him really, really well. And so I love it. I thought it was great. The whole show was dope. There was not like the show was dope.
It was honestly, in my opinion, it's definitely the best pay-per-view of the year, regardless of the company. It was the best. It was better. And you know what? We really thoroughly enjoyed, day one of WrestleMania, especially the Stone Cold of it all, everything like that. In terms of an entire wrestling show, to me, this is the best wrestling show maybe I have ever really seen from bell to bell. It was fantastic when you really think about it, put it together, especially considering half the people on it, you don't even know who they are. And they were out there to be able to put they were that, like you didn't know who they were, but you cared about what was happening. And it didn't matter who it was. You had some dude go out there from the New Japan LA dojo with some black shorts on and some black tie and some black boots and was getting busy. And I didn't care who he was, but he was putting on a shoe. He was telling me a story, and I bought in. And that's, in my opinion, what made this show so special. It was just such a fantastic show all around. No complaints in my end. Even like I said, it was 4 hours or whatever. Like we talked about earlier, it flew by. It was so good. Yeah.
I just to add to that, like I think you're right, and it was a wrestlers wrestling show.
Wrestling show.
There was some fluff, right? Like let's be clear, there was some sports entertainment because Chris Jericho's on the show.
Yes,
but I love that it was peppered throughout. I like that this
the
show
spots were just long enough.
This didn't pretend to be anything that it wasn't supposed to be. This was folks who know New Japan are like the connoisseurs of wrestling. They're a little pretentious too sometimes with their fandom, but like it just is what it is. And I think that AEW did a really good job of catering to them, also bringing in new fans, and then just like giving you a little bit of what you're used to. I also got to give it to them. They have a whole blood and guts they have blood and guts that's tomorrow on Wednesday at Dynamite to promote.
Yeah,
And the way that they kind of peppered that through the show as
was
well, it could,
amazing.
to some, it's probably a little too much Jericho. And I get that because he can be a little overbearing on a show
The
sometimes.
Wizard.
But I will say, you never forgot Blood and Guns is on Wednesday. You never forgot.
I can't wait to see Eddie Kingston
We're gonna be tuned
and
in
the rest
tomorrow.
and the Puerto Ricans from New York going out there and whooping ass. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Santana and Ortiz.
my
I
guys,
can't wait. I cannot wait to
man.
watch that. And again, all in all, I thought the card was again fantastic. I have a real affinity for Japanese combat sports. I was a huge fan of Pride,
Mm,
growing up, in terms of, mixed martial arts promotions and, and watching events and martial arts and arts from there. I always get hype. So
yeah,
seeing that come over and have that type of like, again, that hard hitting type of pro wrestling, I realized for me personally, I gravitate towards that. Then
yeah.
like I prefer
You
I
like when it
like
looks like it
that.
hurt.
I do. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like I prefer that. I realize them more than the sports entertainment aspect. Like I want
yeah.
that with the WWE budget. That's what I want.
Right,
That's what
right.
I want.
You
That
like
would
the
be my
glossy
perfect
WWE
wrestling
look,
show.
but
Yes. Give me the
the hard
WWE
hittingness of
polish
New Japanness.
with New Japan. And you know what? And I guess that's why I really do enjoy AEW, because that's kind of the middle ground. That's kind of what you get.
It's probably the closest thing you're gonna
Probably.
get on on TV here
Here.
in North
Yeah.
America
Yeah.
to that. And I can't wait for Forbidden Door 2. I think
I
we're
cannot
getting
wait.
another one next year. We have to.
Yes.
And I'm gonna call it. Ready? I'm gonna call it right now. Forbidden Door 2 is gonna have WWE wrestlers on it.
Okay.
I'm doing it. I'm jumping out the window tonight.
You know what? If the old man gets booted, you're absolutely correct.
Which is the closest thing to possible it's ever been right now.
The closest thing if the old man gets booted, first of all, let's switch gears. We got a couple minutes left. I want to talk about
Yeah.
this. Nasty.
Ugh.
Nasty, nasty, nasty. Look, man, Vince, I didn't see Vince for years. And all of a sudden, he has these terrible, 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 terrible allegations. And he is making sure to show his face on my television week after week for the last 3 weeks. John Cena is a legend, and next week we will do a better job of actually talking about him and his
Of
fantastic 20
acknowledging that.
years,
Yes.
acknowledging that.
Absolutely.
But unfortunately,
Great
John,
show,
you
by the way,
came.
yesterday.
It was, even the way he went out there. He put everybody over. He really, showed why he was great. I got, he the motivational speech and everything made me want to go work out. Beautiful thing, good thing. Wow. Thank you very much, John Cena. But
Right.
listening to Vince McMahon come out here and just to show his face, it is nasty. I
It's
don't want to
icky.
see it.
It's gross.
And it makes me want to, again, I need this to get rectified in one way or another. So he pieces out or something happens where he goes back to the darkness, because it makes me not enjoy the product. Like, they were lucky John Cena came out, because usually every time he comes out, I think about it for the next 20 minutes at least. This time, John Cena came right out and I completely forgot about him. But after the fact, I was like, oh yeah, he was on my TV. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
I'm gonna say this. To me, I mean, no one's surprised. Like, I mean,
Not at all. In the
none of us are
least. At
surprised
all.
that Vince McMahon is going to take all of this kicking and screaming, right? whatever the outcomes are. He's going to do it kicking and screaming. And this is his version of kicking and screaming and you know, his dick measuring contest, whatever you want to call it. You know what I mean? Like, he's going to show you that I am the man no matter what. They can take this title away and that title away.
Now, and forever.
Exactly. And to me, if you want to show people that you're not who you're being accused of being, you don't do that. You show a little bit of humility. I don't know, but that's just me personally. But we know that this is Vince McMahon. He does not have a humility bone in his body. So that's just not what it is. I say all of that to say, I agree with you. We don't need to see his face on television like ever again. Honestly, if everything is true and like Triple H is back to work, which is really nice to see. That first of all, one time for his health, because you know we want Mr. Paul Levesque to be healthy, for one, because it looks like he had a really scary health situation last year. You know what I mean? So like that is the first important thing. But if again, we only know what we hear about, and we probably only know like 20% of what's actually going down backstage, right?
If that.
If that, right? So if we're thinking positive,
Sean Ross don't got that much coverage
at all, right? So if we're thinking that, if we're being positive with the situation, Triple H is back to work. That means him and Shawn Michaels is back together. NXT hopefully should get better, hopefully. And and then Stephanie McMahon being,
does that mean
running
they
things?
Get rid of
Stop it.
That's what they get rid of Maga the Stallion. Nah.
Did you call that girl Maga the Stallion?
Yeah, what you mean?
Look, until NXT's like main viewership is like old white men. So no, they're not going to, that lady is gonna always have a job. No, I don't know. It's just our hope. There's so many really talented people backstage, right? That this company could be so much better with their output creatively, could be not the villain company in these streets, right? There's just so many potential opportunities. There's so many potential opportunities for it to fundamentally change and be the thing that they market themselves to be, right?
Absolutely.
They market themselves to be. John Cena is actually a really great representation or symbol of who they think WWE is. Like
who they think, absolutely.
That's a really great example of like what they're trying to tell us WWE is, instead of what it might necessarily be.
Actually be. Right.
And if Mr. McMahon would just let folks run that thing, he's ran it for however long, for a zillion and a half years. If he would just step down and retire and just go off into the sunset and let the folks do what they do, they actually could be that. Again, I'm thinking very positively here, right? Lord knows Stephanie McMahon could be a terrible person. I don't know. But I don't think so.
I don't know, man. Her dad is Vince McMahon, and her mom was tweeting some wild shit this weekend.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So you never know. All I'm saying is that it's just, we know that there's so many talented human beings backstage, and like if they were able and they had the freedom to cook and to use their talents and use the creativity the way that we know that they can, and the way we've seen them do it in front of the camera, because there's so many folks that they used to be in front of the camera. To me, if I want to learn wrestling, I want to learn it from a wrestler. If I want to learn how to cook, I'm going to ask a chef. I am not going to go to anybody. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to go to a mathematician to learn how to cook. Like, that doesn't make any sense.
And from what we understand, Triple H is fantastic at his job, and everybody who is back there says how great he is.
I've had the pleasure of working under that man when I was at NXT. I was an intern. I know Serge likes to he likes to oversell it.
He was out there in the writer's room making
grad school. I was folding tables and chairs at NXT for the NXT Largo Loop and at their tapings at Full Sail. No, but yeah, but you know what I mean? And I did get to meet him a few times, right? And like
Mm-hmm.
he spoke to the interns just like
Mm-hmm.
he spoke to talent, just like he spoke to
Nice.
producers. He was just, Triple H was, I mean, and I'm not gonna lie, I was pleasantly surprised. He didn't have to
That's
say
awesome.
anything to us.
That's awesome.
Right?
Yeah.
He could have just
That
been
says a
like,
lot.
right, interns, cool, do things, No,
Yeah.
how you doing? What's going on? Great
Mm-hmm.
job, stuff like that. And of course, I was there
Mm-hmm.
when NXT was still a baby. It was, it was 2014
Mm-hmm.
and it
Mm-hmm.
was just
Mm-hmm.
becoming
The thing.
popular. It was one of those
Yeah.
things where like, oh, what's this NXT thing? And it was almost like a
Mm-hmm.
cool underground thing for you to watch at that point, but it was still really dope. I had all of the horsewomen. I got to watch all of them grow. It's a
Which
great
is
space to
awesome.
be in. And like it was just one of those things where it felt like everybody kind of knew their part. Everybody knew
Right.
what something was special was happening
Yeah.
here. And it did. It ended up becoming everything that folks were really working for it to be. I got onto a little tangent because you're right. I just wanted to say that Triple H, he seems like a dope guy. My experience of him was he was
That's
he was
awesome.
dope. He was
That's awesome.
amazing. Shook my hand, everything.
That's what's
Um,
up.
so I just, in my dream scenario, it'd be great if he ran it, right? I don't know if that's what he wants. We're all just we're making all of these hopes, dreams, predictions, etc. But the point is we really just don't want to see Mr. McMahon on our television screens ever
It,
again. Honestly.
yeah. Yeah. I
Ever
mean,
again. And what makes me sick, sorry, Serge, I don't mean to cut you off, is the
okay.
crowd cheering for them. Ever since
I
the
mean,
day
well,
those
you know
allegations
what's
came
gonna
out,
happen though.
I
You
can't
you
stand
know
that.
there that's gonna happen, and he knows that that's gonna happen. That's why he goes out there, because there's always gonna be a portion of people that are gonna go out there and celebrate that, and
That
he
nostalgia pop.
parades out exactly. He parades out for that. I think
Yeah.
he probably has about a good 3 months of doing this before people actually legitimately start booing him. To be honest with you.
3 months? Jesus.
Yeah, that's when we'll probably start slowing down, if at all. But
Oy.
all right. But all in all, look, in terms of the weekend, AEW put on a phenomenal show. Just a great wrestling show
Absolutely.
all around. A lot of fun from the pre-show stuff to the very end. It was awesome. I mean, some great moments. Some guys that I hope are are back sooner than we think. Some of these feuds
Yes,
you want
man.
to see, and
Heal up
in
all
terms
these injuries, man.
heal up all these injuries. Adam Cole feel
Yeah,
better. Everybody,
please.
Randy Orton seems like he might really be injured, or it's a work and he's gonna pop back up, kind of wild. You know what I'm saying? Regardless,
Cody promo
good
last night.
health.
Did you catch that?
Cody had a good promo last night.
Yeah.
Montez Ford is looking more jacked than ever, so I know he's priming for a singles run. And like that we need. It was good. There's some good things, but WWE, the Vince McMahon of it all, makes me not want to be associated right now. And on the other side, AEW is putting on fantastic stuff. Wednesday, Blood and Guts. Today was NXT. Friday, you know what show it is. It's on SmackDown. But with that being said, Miss Drada, you got anything else?
Yo, man, I missed y'all. Like, this was fun. We can't be doing this. We can't be missing weeks, man. No, I'm just playing.
We can't. We can't. We can't.
We
That was
all
on me. That was
recharged.
on me.
We're all recharged, and we had a lot to talk about. So thank you for
Yes, we did.
joining us and watching this. Again, if you're watching live, if you're watching it after it goes live, whatever it is, we really appreciate y'all. And plus, please make some comments, like especially if you're watching this after it goes live. We want to know what y'all want us to talk about. We've got,
Let
we
us
talk
know.
about everything that's going on the shows, you know what I mean, every week. But like, what do you want to hear us talking about? So throw that in the comments. We'll pay attention. And definitely share this link to somebody. If you haven't, somebody who used to watch wrestling but hasn't watched it in a while, pop this in. Let them know, like, hey, this is what's going on. Maybe you should watch. I'm
And
just
tell them
saying.
to
It
listen,
worked for
like,
Serge.
subscribe, and share. Let them know. Let them know, Dre.
Hey.
Appreciate y'all as always. And everyone who's watching live right now, thank you guys for watching live. Everybody, make sure you check out the Scrap News. the absolute best in combat sports and media. I mean, you go on there, you know, some of the articles are great. The YouTube page, a lot of great content there as well. I mean, fantastic interviews, IG page, social media, everything, Scrap News, check them out. Also, make sure you check out the Fight Podcast, fightpodcast.com. Listen, like, subscribe, share. Ms. Dre, appreciate you. And everybody else out there, you know how it is. If you at the gig, you've been working hard, you've been out there grinding, you let the people know.
Yesterday's price is not today's price. Yesterday's price is not today's price. He's certified.